A lot of people said, at least Stephen Moore, sitting on the Fed, a completely unqualified, self-professed, high, steep learning curve type of guy when it comes to the Fed, monetary policy.
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, he said, no, I got a lot to learn. I got a lot to learn. This is a guy who's jumped from job to job. I mean, this is just one of those guys you're like.
What do you really need to know, though, to just like set monetary policy to benefit oligarchs and corporations?
I mean, there is some technical knowledge. At the very least, you want to come off like you know what you're talking about. He can't even pretend to do that. So here he is. He has walked into the lion's den, ladies and gentlemen. When you are in the late stages of a campaign, and in this case, Stephen Moore is on his own personal campaign to get on the Fed. When you need to shore up your base in the late stages of a campaign, that is an indication that you're going to lose badly. Because by the late stages of a campaign, you're reaching out. So at this point, Stephen Moore should be going on Democracy Now! To make his case to those on the left why he'd be a good Fed. Instead, he's on firing line with Margaret Hoover. If you've got to sell Margaret Hoover at this stage, you know you've got a problem. Here he is saying he may have something to apologize for in the context of a joke that maybe some people misinterpreted as being somewhat racy or racist.
Another statement that keeps coming to light is a joke you made about the Obamas. Just after the election, here, I'll play it.
By the way, did you see that there's that great cartoon going along, that New York Times headline, first thing Donald Trump does as president is kick a black family out of public housing, and it has Obama leaving the White House. I mean, I just love that one. It's just a great one.
So, that is a joke I always made about, Obama lives in, the president lives in public housing, but I didn't mean it like a black person did. I just meant that, being in the White House, for example, when I was working with a lot of women and families who were involved in the education voucher program, here in D.C., and people would say, well, and these were blacks who would say, why does Barack Obama get to send his kids to any school that he wants to and we can't? And they say he lives in public housing, and it was just kind of a joke, and that was
the optics, though, the conservative white man talking about kicking a black man out of public housing have a particular resonance, especially in this moment.
Yeah. So I shouldn't have said it. Again, you go back 30 years, you're going to be able to find clips over and over and over again about me. I have a long paper trail. I mean, there's no question about it. And I
pause it. I would just remind people that was actually not on paper. That was actually just he said it at on a stage, actually, in front of a podium.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually. You didn't have to go back 30 years. I can only imagine what Stephen Moore was saying about black people 30 years ago. This was all the way back in 2016 when my son, who's 6, could tie his shoes.
Should have said it.
He probably doesn't even understand that joke is at Trump's expense, right? Like, he is saying it in a racist way to be racist, but actually, it's bad to kick families out of public housing.
I know. Okay,
you're Stephen Moore.
I know the origin of that joke. Years ago, there was a Trump roast on Comedy Central. They used to do, broadcast these roasts, and Trump was totally fine, and everybody did the same. Like, he's got so many wives in his hair, and he's just like, oh, you know what, good roast. And then Snoop Dogg came out, and this was in 2011. So it was, it was disgusting that this was happening to begin with. But Snoop Dogg said, why shouldn't he run for president? It wouldn't be the first time he kicked a black family out of their homes.
Right.
That was the joke, and Trump did not like that.
Continue.
So I shouldn't have said it. Again, you go back 30 years, you're going to be able to find clips over and over and over again about me. I have a long paper trail. I mean, there's no question about it. And I say things that are kind of jokes that if people want to pick them apart, then I probably won't, get on the Federal Reserve Board.
I think that might be the case, actually.
If you dig up all of my racist jokes, I might not be on the Fed.
I suspect that part of the reason why you're there on firing line is to prevent that from happening, actually. A little bit unfortunate. But look, folks, I've made the case many times in the past that racists and misogynists don't see themselves in two separate categories. They don't go like, I'm a double threat. I'm racist and misogynist. They just go, I just don't like people who aren't white guys. And so let's check in a little bit later in that interview. Maybe it was a little bit earlier with Margaret Hoover, where Stephen Moore is explaining, some of the things he said that maybe misinterpreted in some way about women.
There should be a statute of limitations on saying stupid things, and I've said some pretty stupid things.
Okay, so let's go to one of them. Right. Let me play it.
Pause it. I love the fact. I love the fact that she's sitting there laughing. It's true. It's true. You have said some stupid things. Let's play this one we have queued up for you right now.
Okay, so let's go to one of them. Right. Let me play it.
It's not a good thing that black women are making more than black men today. In fact, the male needs to be the breadwinner of the family, and one of the reasons I think you've seen the decline of the family, not just in the black community, but also it's happening now in the white community as well, is because women are more economically self-sufficient.
So let me kind of explain what I was saying there. And
go back just a little bit. Like every sentence out of this guy's mouth is so precious when he's trying. Let me try and explain what I said there. Now, this is, to be fair, this was all the way back in 2000. I think he's going to probably use that as a defense because, back in 2000, things were so different. I remember back in the early aughts, we had the horse-drawn carriages. You go out now in Brooklyn, it's like you could get hit by a car if you walk in the street. Well, it used to be you'd have to watch out for the horse and buggies that were there in 2000.
Women are more economically self-sufficient.
So let me kind of explain what I was saying there, and it wasn't said very artfully. And by the way, it was 20 years ago. Times have changed a lot.
Yeah, except for that you said it again in 2014.
But I will say this.
Did you catch that? He said, well, times have really changed since the year 2000. I've got news for you, folks. They haven't changed that much. I mean, things have changed, but I think in 2000, we were pretty much all on board with the idea that women, it's okay for them to be economically self-sufficient. I mean, as a society, we were pretty much resigned to the fact that we just can't keep them in the kitchen anymore. But then she comes back with, well, you actually said that in 2014 when things had progressed. That was back almost when we had the internal combustion engine.
I believe one of the biggest problems with the American economy today is what has happened with male wages over the last 25 to 30 years. Women's wages have gone up, which is great. I'm for higher wages for everybody. The problem is black male and white male wages have been falling. And I do think that's a problem for our society.
I think most people would agree that's a problem. The problem is that you said that the male needs to be the breadwinner.
No, I shouldn't have said that. But what I am saying is that when you have male wages declining like that, they become less important in terms of the breadwinner in the family, and that can lead to family instability.
We can't have societal stability if women are making more than men in the family.
No. I like the direction women's wages have been going. I mean, women have made great strides.
Do you still believe that men need to make more than women?
Women's wages have gone like that, and males' wages have gone like that.
Look at his hands. Look at his hands. Go back. Look at his.
Oh my God! Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
No, I'm not sure what you're thinking.
Like that episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No, I didn't. No, I don't know what that means.
He's making a big vagina with his hands.
Yeah, I was not thinking that. I was just thinking he's tired.
It's a gap you could fit a baseball in.
He's literally saying, it's almost like saying Margaret, let me try and do a physical representation of what I am doing mentally. And that is by turning, I'm trying to twist myself into a pretzel to make it sound like I didn't actually say in 2014 that it's a problem that women are the breadwinners in a family.
No, when women are the breadwinners, the vaginas, they get too big and then the men feel small.
That's right, because they win all their bread with their...
But then the woman can't get any pleasure
either. And they
either.
put it in their... Okay, good.
Like that, and males' wages are going like that. And yeah, I think that's a problem.
Well, Stephen Moore, if...
There's the Herman Cain music.
Yeah, exactly. Herman Cain is sitting back going like, I knew it.
Excuse me.
All I had to do was wait.
And also, for what it's worth, I mean, Stephen Moore has just been on the right-wing propaganda welfare dole. Herman Cain is a successful businessman.
Well, Herman Cain, to be fair, has also been on the right-wing propaganda
Absolutely,
dole. He's been doing radio.
Hey, Stephen Moore never ran a successful pizza franchise.
That's true. He didn't. I wonder I wonder if this actually, like, it'll be curious to see if Stephen Moore, if this ends it for Stephen Moore. Like, if everybody's like, this dose of how ridiculous this dude is dropped in one moment.
Ben Carson's still in charge of HUD, right?
No, but Ben Carson didn't, yes, that's true. But I think like Ben Carson just takes you into another world when he that guy's trying to do what he's supposed to do really badly. Ben Carson would have just been like, I did say that. And if you look at the pyramids, and then it would just be like, all right, you know what? Fine.